Hey everyone, and welcome to a Motion in Motion random cast. So I've just been watching the keynote from the big September event where they've now launched the iPhone 6 and the iPhone 6 Plus and the iWatch or Apple Watch, whatever it was called. And I just wanted to sort of stress how important the need for things like auto layout now are, and to be able to design your applications in a more adaptive sense. There is a huge blurring of the lines between a mobile device and a tablet device now, and we need to be able to create our applications in ways that they're just going to be a bit more universal. So there's always been, since the iPad was launched, there's always been the idea of a universal application where you can have specialized views for the iPad and specialized views for the iPhone, but now we've got sort of this range of device sizes, and it's becoming a little bit more like how it works on Android. And I'm going to sort of explain that here. But what we need to consider is the fact that we have these new range of different sizes that we can work with, and more screen real estate. And so we can actually have things like split view controllers on an iPhone now, and it's actually something that can make sense. And so Apple in iOS 8 and Xcode 6 introduced something that was actually helpful for this blurring of the lines. And it's called size classes. So I was learning about this yesterday as I was going through the videos from WWDC. And the basic idea of size classes, you guys might have seen this, is if you've used Xcode 6 and you've played around in Interface Builder, you would have seen that there is a new way of setting how big the scene is inside of Interface Builder in a storyboard. So that way it can sort of be this tiny little square, this bigger square. It can be a bit bigger horizontally or vertically. And this is sort of where size classes come in. This is also in the resizable simulator as well. And so I just want to sort of quickly explain size classes. So I've got a Photoshop document up, and I'm using my Wacom tablet, which I haven't used in a while, so excuse my poor drawing on this. But the basic idea of size classes is, instead of having sort of the interface idioms that we used to have, where we had either it was a UI interface idiom of the iPhone or the iPad, or we had the landscape or portrait orientation. Now we actually have the idea of size classes, and this sort of the basic idea of it is we have. Let's see how well I can use this. We have this sort of 4x4 grid, which I'm doing a very poor job of drawing, but we have this 4x4 grid, and we have the regular size and the compact size. And then we have that on here as well. And so you end up with, so the regular size is, actually I might have done this in the reverse order. So actually, I can start down here, it's okay. So the regular size and the compact size, the regular size, for example, is like the iPad, something a bit bigger, you have more screen real estate. And the compact size is when you've got, for example, the iPhones, the iPhone 5 now, in the landscape orientation, and sort of the navigation bar squishes up, and if you hadn't noticed already, on iOS 8 the status bar actually disappears. And so what happens here is we end up with this sort of grid of different sizes, where we've got, for example, the compact size, which is just this little square, uh, and then for the compact and regular in the um, vertical axis, we've got sort of something a little longer. Um, and we've also got the horizontal axis, or we've just got the really big square for regular and regular in both directions. And so if you watch the keynote, um, what actually happened in the keynote is when they were presenting the iPhone 6 Plus and showing, I think it was messages or something like that, when they actually turned it into landscape orientation, a split view controller came up. Um, and that's the interesting part about size classes in iOS 8 is the fact that you can actually completely change the design without really reloading much. You can just sort of add bits and pieces, add views in and remove views in as things update, and change constraints for your auto layout and bits and pieces like that. And so we end up with, on the iPhone 6, a regular sizing for the landscape orientation, so we can actually fit more in on the uh, horizontal axis. And so it goes, all right, well, I've got enough space here to actually show two views. So I'm going to actually show the list view and the detail view in line in on one screen. But you can have your code and your interfaces built to respond to things like this. So that way, instead of actually designing and coding your application for just sort of this one paradigm, and you have different things for the iPad and the iPhone, you put it all in the code. You put it all into this sort of one big bundle of, does it fit into one of these four things? And so there's a little bit more to it. Like you get these, I think it was called a size trait. I can't actually remember right now, but you get this collection of the X and Y, the vertical and horizontal um, trait for regular and compact, where you've got, it can either be compact or regular in the horizontal direction, or regular and compact in the vertical direction. And that makes up two aspects of sort of this size class thing, this trait of the device, environment trait, I think it was called. Anyway, um, but you also have the device idiom, so phone or iPad, and you also have the, I think it was the resolution or something like that. So it was basically the display density. So, for example, on basically any current device, that would be 2 for the fact that it's a Retina device. Um, and this even works with, for example, the image assets library in Xcode, where you can actually specify different images for the compact and regular settings, as well as for the 1x and 2x versions. So this is also in the UI image class and things like that, and it's sort of deeply integrated into so many parts of the visual aspects of your application. It's just deeply integrated into UIKit, so that way we can now build more adaptive user interfaces. And instead of working with particular versions for iPad or iPhone, we can now just create this sort of responsive design, similar to like what we've been doing on the web with responsive web design, using media queries and things like that. It's very similar. Now we have this sort of media query kind of thing, but for UIKit. So this was sort of a long-winded discussion about this. Make sure you go to Safari. You can't do this in Chrome, but go away one password. Anyway, if you go to developer.apple.com, and check out the WWDC videos from 2014. My internet is currently being extremely slow, apparently. If you check out the WWDC videos from 2014, which I will bring up here. 1 second. Quickly sign in. I've actually been using. I usually use this on here. So what I'm going to do, I'll just type it in manually. All right, and then what do I want? Apple developer, copy. All right, sorry about that. So, all right, continuing on. Looks like my program's about to expire. Anyway, continuing on WWDC videos. There is a session in the WWDC 2014 videos. It's called, let me find it, Building Adaptive Apps with UIKit. So definitely give this a watch. It's session 216. It's incredibly interesting. I absolutely loved it. It will explain this probably a little bit better than I can and explain all the little details, but I just wanted to make people aware of it. It's incredibly important now because we're getting into a territory not as bad as Android at the moment, where we have many, many different screen sizes and resolutions, but we're getting into a space where we now really have to remove ourselves from thinking about specific devices and thinking about whether we have lots of real estate to display something on or we have only a small amount of real estate to display something on. That's where we have to start pushing our designs. That's where we have to start pushing our work. And we have to start building correctly to take advantage of the larger screen sizes of the iPhone 6, 6 Plus, and the iPad, and to take advantage and to properly utilize and think about what we're going to put in the compact space on the iPhone 5 and 4 in landscape, as well as possibly things in the future like the the Apple Watch. I'm not sure how that's going to work with Interface Builder and auto layout and stuff, but we'll see as the time goes on and that gets announced. So I hope you enjoyed this quick random cast where I rambled on for a bit. If you didn't understand me, basically the too long don't read is watch this video, Building Adaptive Apps with UIKit. It's incredibly important now. I cannot stress that this will likely be one of the most important things to learn when doing iPhone development and iPad development that will be affecting everyone's careers and everyone's jobs in the near future. So thanks everyone for watching, and I will see you in the next random cast or in one of my other screencasts, Motion in Motion and Rails in Motion. Thanks for watching.